I haven't been asked this question as often as I was expecting. I would have thought that when you ask a horse trainer to come out to meet you, or you go to their barn for the first time, you would ask them about their experience, kind of like a job interview. How did it all start for you? Who taught you? What did they teach you? What do you do? But no, I find most people are more interested in seeing what I can do and experience an example of my teaching firsthand, which is great. Probably gives you the most important information that you could get from me the first time you meet me. But now I have you all wondering, so I will tell you. I don't remember this, but I think my first time on a horse was with my uncle. He had a gray Arabian named Dancer, with a big sarcoid on his face. Other than that, his fur was perfectly white. Excuse me, his hair. His hair was perfectly white. Horses have hair, not fur. My uncle plopped me down in front of him in the saddle and took me on a little ride around a pasture. Dancer was a very cool horse. He was hand signal trained, and you could ride him entirely off of hand signals and seat cues. He also knew how to rear up on command. He had even been in a TV series once. He appeared in an episode of Northern Exposure. I'll forgive you if you've never heard of it before. I didn't really get serious about horse riding until I was 9. My parents were going through a divorce, and I was going through what just about every child goes through when their parents go through a divorce. I do not remember the exact conversation, but my mom said something to me. She said, "Parrish, you cannot just sit in front of the television all day. You need to do something with your life." And I responded with something along the lines of, "Okay, Mom, whatever." She said, "How about horseback riding lessons?" And I said something that surely meant, "Okay, Mom, just shut up and let me watch TV." What I do remember is walking into the barn for the very first time. The smell of horse wafting in the air and taking a peek at all the beautiful four-legged creatures. I looked at each one in turn and saw that there were 2 black horses. One had slightly red undertones and the other was big and dark and black. I wanted to ride the biggest, blackest horse at that barn. Don't laugh too hard. Remember, I was 9. And wouldn't you know it, I got to ride that big black horse. His name was Jake, and he was the goodest boy at the barn. Everyone started on Jake to find out how good they were, and I stayed on Jake for a long time. I was 9. I was a beginner. I got to ride the goodest boy. As I would hope every 9-year-old beginner student would have the opportunity to do. I stayed with that trainer exclusively for about 5 years. It was there where I learned to canter, ride both English and Western, go out to my first horse shows, low-key performance shows, but still very fun and challenging for an 11-year-old. I liked them because all the things I knew how to do well at home were much harder at the show. That was also the first place I really bonded with a horse. When I started to realize I liked training horses most of all. Her name was Ernie. Yes, a mare named Ernie, spelled like the boy's name. Better yet, she was an Appaloosa. She walked around like she had a chip on her shoulder and took offense to anything she darn well pleased to. She was also the first horse to claim me as her own. She would get jealous of me and try to protect me from the other horses. Ernie would get so mad if I rode a different horse. I was honored. It made me feel special to have been chosen as part of her herd. We would snuggle before every lesson. She was also spooky. Like many older Appaloosas, she had vision issues, so everything out of the corner of her eye scared her. It was like she saw ghosts. And she was also afraid of her own shadow, but she was guaranteed to take me with her when she ran. Ernie never put effort into unseating me. I learned how to stay seated during unexpected moments and how to coax a frightened horse through their fear. This trainer is also the first one who gave me the opportunity to teach. I would volunteer at summer camps as a helper and keep an eye on the kids. After some time, I wanted to get more into horse showing. I had found out that you could ride your horse at the county fair, and I thought that was the coolest thing. My big dream as a child was to ride at the fair. My current trainer didn't have the means to help me with that, so I changed trainers to someone she highly recommended. That was where I met Buttons, the little chestnut Arab that no one could ride. I loved that POS so much. He threw me off every which way to Sunday. Buttons is the reason I do not know how many times I have fallen off a horse. I lost count between 7 and 8. And that was when I was still in high school. I rode that horse at the fair. Bareback, at a canter, 3 things I was told I might never be able to do with that horse because of how unpredictable he was. When I went to college, his owner had to sell him and get herself a horse she could ride, which is totally fair and very sad. I didn't spend long at college, but during that time, I did compete in the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association, a very fun program, especially for someone like me. When you go to a show, you are assigned a horse that you have never met before, and then you're mounted up, led into the arena, and then you are showing. Sometimes the owner was there, and you got to ask them questions before you rode. It was high stress, but very fun. After that, there was a short lull in my horse time. I got a job at Costco and worked a few summer camps for my first trainer and took some lessons from my second trainer. One day, when I was telling stories about buttons, I had a coworker ask me to come help her with her pony. She wanted lessons, and the other lady at her bar needed someone to work her insulin-resistant horse 5 days a week. They were my first students/clients. I quit Costco for mental health reasons. Being inside all day really sucks. And it quickly became easier to find another student than a whole new job. It was 2019, after all. So that's it. The first section of my life as a horse person and how it all began for me.